spoken word, there's this thing you do. If you like what the speaker is saying, you snap. It's very encouraging for the speaker. So do it, because I'm going to start with a piece. Only if you feel like, though, I don't want your pity. So, here we go. We are the internet generation. We are the ones with such carefully manipulated virtual lives that sometimes we end up envying ourselves. Wishing we could live the lives we're pretending to on social media. We are the children of Instagram and Snapchat. We labor over our pictures for hours just so that people can know what a good time we're having. We take 50 selfies from angles we didn't even know we had, just so that they can know that we're effortlessly good looking. We made our homes on Facebook and Twitter, posting every small achievement and every popular opinion on public platforms within 140 characters. Not because we care, but because we know. We have observed, we have learned, we have mastered the art of retweets and shares, of hashtags and likes, of little red hearts, with a pulse that is determined by double taps. Welcome to the internet generation. Just a few basic instructions before we take off. There are no exits to your left or right. In case of an emergency, we would recommend you update your Facebook status and hope for the best. There is no need to fasten your seatbelts, as you will be glued to your screen scrolling through Tumblr for the next couple of years, moving as little as you possibly can regardless. Your cabin attendants will not be serving you food, and thus you might find that you have gone 3 days without eating, but feel free to pick at the leftovers you dropped on your shirt last week. Thank you for choosing the internet. We hope you have a pleasant journey, and God help you, there's no turning back now. But no one prepared us for the internet generation. We have grown up in a world where we have felt indestructible and vulnerable at the same time. We have grown up in a world where cowardice seems bold, as the obscure usernames bully and abuse 12-year-olds, and the people behind those usernames would not dare look you in the eye in real life. It's a shame. But we have grown up in a world where we have felt indestructible and vulnerable at the same time. We have grown up in a world where we can celebrate ourselves, where we can find people who love the things we love, where we can find people to love the things we love with, where you can spend entire nights talking to people you thought you'd never see again, smiling stupidly at your cell phone screen, sharing YouTube links and weird-ass memes, and you feel all those feels with such intensity. But no one prepared us for the internet generation. Like, beta, when a person and free Wi-Fi fall in love, or beta, a stock called Flipkart brought the iPad to daddy, or beta, imagine mummy as the bumblebee and the pollen as the apps. Mom said, son, when your internet connection was installed at home, we fused together and formed a little void. Gradually, the void got bigger and bigger, and eventually, it turned into you. An insatiable child, begging for attention constantly, ping, 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 always crying about some notification or the other. Mommy, I want this update. Mommy, I want that update. Please watch this 10-minute video of people popping pimples, mommy, please. And then halfway through the video, by the time you're invested, the child changes his mind and stops buffering. But at the end of the day, any parent would understand it's a love-hate relationship. After all, child is a result of your mistakes, of your carelessness. So you nurture it and let it grow. Welcome to the internet generation. It's a houseful theater showing now a drama of contradictions where we feel mighty and 100 feet tall and we feel insignificant and about this small, where we have come face to face with honesty and with lies, where you can reveal yourselves completely and still be able to hide, where we have found people we lost somewhere in our childhood, but we have lost people sitting across us eating Chinese food. We have watched the continents click together and fall into place, but we have watched each man become an island in so many ways. We are the internet generation. We are a bittersweet conglomeration of mundane thoughts and extraordinary ideas, of the same thing being said again and again and again and again, of the same thing being said differently and blowing us away, of boring pictures and misinformed rants, of art that punches you in the face and in the heart, of a million people fuming because of a dog that was abused and nearly died, and a million people smiling because of a Coldplay concert video where a small autistic boy cried. I am the internet generation. I am a section of mankind that has relearned the beauty of clouds and wires running across the sky, of a time where everyone is an artist, and everyone is full of words and images and colors, of a place from where one voice can echo across the oceans and the seas and shake the entire planet. So please, don't tell me things like, oh, your generation is a lost cause, because I might seem this small, but don't forget, I'm also 100 feet tall. So I'm here because I made a difference. It wasn't a huge difference. No deaths were prevented, poverty eradicated, God forbid, equality established, but I made a difference. And I did it with an idea, or more specifically, I did it with a story. Now, stories generate empathy between any two people who are as different as can be if one is the storyteller and the other is the story told. We strive, oh, by the way, you don't have to snap anymore because I've started the talk. We strive to understand ourselves better constantly, and we strive to understand each other better. Why are books like The White Tiger or To Kill a Mockingbird renowned literary pieces? It's because they make us empathize with people and situations that we never would have been able to otherwise. This empathy, I think, is the key to creating a balanced and just society. I dream of a society whose balance lies in the power of stories. Imagine how beautiful and ideal the world would be if it was one where everybody was heard. That's also why I'm here. I'm here to tell you a story and to explain to you why you should tell one too. I like writing. I always have. I started a blog when I was 13 that I updated an average of 4 times a day, and that no one read. And I still write on that blog, and no one reads it. But I was completely okay with that. You know, I'd get 20 views a week, and sometimes it would go to 30, and I'd be the proudest person in the room. I was the only person in the room. And it was fine. I was completely content in the small bubble that consisted solely of my scraps of writing and me. Then, early 2016, my friend told me that he was working with a spoken word organization and that I should write something for them. I was like, yeah, sure, sounds amazing. Knowing full well that I would write something, hate myself for 2 hours, and then not send it in. Because I couldn't. There's no way that I could. A, I never considered my writing worth the time and patience of a spoken word environment, and 2, I have stage fright. So I refused, but he was very determined to get me to write something. He kept reiterating that he was my blog's biggest fan, and I kept telling him that he was just biased and obviously just in love with me. I mean, obviously. But he convinced me finally, and I have this very vivid memory of sitting in front of my laptop and staring at this blank document. I had nothing at all that I thought anyone would want to listen to. So that's exactly what I wrote about. My first ever spoken word piece starts with these lines. I don't have much to say that hasn't been said before. I don't have any claims to make that haven't been claimed before. I don't have any movements to organize that haven't been moved before, but I like to write, and I like people to listen, and I've never really been heard before. Straight from the heart. The rawest, most sincerely genuine things that I was thinking, I wrote it out. I stopped thinking about how a spoken word piece should be written. I stopped thinking about what people wanted to hear, and I wrote instead about what it was like to be a really shy, really awkward introvert who would actually love to be heard. And I sent it. I was dying with the anxiety, but I was also 99% sure that they wouldn't select it until the next day, when my friend, he put a very reassuring hand on my shoulder and he said, don't worry, I'll make sure you get a slot. And I said, no, it's fine. I mean, better luck next time. Oh, what a bummer. Don't. Very cool, calm, collected response. And so it was that a week later, I was introduced to the organizers, told that I would be going up third, and then left to my own self-loathing, anxiety-stricken devices until the event started. Now, I have no memory of my first performance. I don't know if I repeated lines or forgot lines. All I remember is my heartbeat and my breathing being so loud that I was afraid that that was all the mic was picking up. And I didn't know that you snap when you like something. I thought they were just trying to rush me off the stage. And when I was leaving, I just remember my head being very light and my legs shaking so much that I thought I was going to fall. And that was it. And then a few days later, I got a message on Facebook asking me to perform the piece again. Then the Introvert video went up on YouTube. They're on BuzzFeed, they're on Scoop Whoop, they're on Scroll, they're on India Today. People ask me to give interviews for them. They ask me to talk on their radio shows. They ask me to write articles for their magazines, all because of one story. A story about an introvert that tens of thousands of people thought was their story. Now, the piece went viral, and the piece makes a lot of fun of extroverts for being amazing. It's the only chance I got. And so on public platforms, there were a lot of extroverts who wanted to give me a piece of their mind, and there were people saying, how can she be introvert? She's too confident. This is obviously publicity stunt. Too much harsher and crueler name-calling and insults that would have really had the power to hurt me had it not been for the introverts who sent me private messages on Facebook, Instagram, Gmail, telling me how much they loved the piece and thanking me. They were thanking me for saying things that they have felt their entire lives but could never put into words. There were people who told me that, they were really struggling in their new work environment, but my piece empowered them, and now they'd stopped eating lunch in the toilets. There were others who told me that their extrovert friends finally understood why they didn't want to go to parties, and they expressed their gratitude. My favorite were those who were inspired to write their own pieces and tell their own story. It fills me with so much pride to be able to tell you that I am the reason that someone realized their stories are worth sharing. Because we live in a world where everything moves so fast. People are so busy. Technology bombards you with 10 different things, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Gmail, flight details, weather forecasts, political updates. Trump is everywhere now. And you don't get time to tell your stories anymore. And worse, you don't get time to listen to theirs. With my experience with spoken word and storytelling, I think that it's impossible to have a just and balanced society when half the world is silent. Who are you to decide that your stories are not worth telling? How do you know that your story won't make one person do something amazing or change 1,000 people's lives? You don't have the right to decide that your story won't change something, even if the only thing it changes is you. A story has the power to make a man who's afraid of heights climb a mountain, but it also has the power to start a revolution. Today, thousands of women across India are sharing stories of sexual harassment, for example, and it's liberating them. It's bringing them together and it's talking about an age-old problem and refusing to let it die down again. That's the power only a story can have. Laws and rules will never be able to do that because they hit you from the outside. Rules hit you from the outside. A story gets you from within. It's that simple. Not that that means you only have to write socially relevant stories, obviously. Yes, stories can start a movement, but you start with you. And whatever is most genuinely, sincerely you will resonate with the rest. I started off by telling you that I'm here because I made a difference. I guess I forgot to mention that I'm also here to tell you that you can make a difference too. It's so simple. Just tell a story. I want to end with another piece. It's called A Lot Like Me. And it's about this girl I know. And she's about my age. She's about my height. And she has my face. And the color of her eyes, they match in shade. And the texture of her skin, it's exactly the same. She walks like me, but her gait is softer. Her feet move gently like fish in water. And when she passes you by, you'll want her to smile at you, touch your arm, fill you with her laughter. I've heard her speak and she's shy. Her face contorts into funny lines. You might not hear her, so she keeps quiet. Don't mind her. She's just trying not to get in your way when she doesn't meet your eye. She's really quite okay once you get to know her. In fact, she's almost lovely. You just need to show her that you'll help her build a conversation. That will make her go weak in the knees, and then you pretty much own her. When she moves like me, but she does it much more elegantly. She likes to use her hands when she speaks to orchestrate her spoken imagery. You can snap again. Did you know she writes? She likes words. They're exactly like the ones I've heard. But even though she frames them just the way I do, somehow hers fit together perfectly and mine never work. Anyway, feed her chocolate and cakes and tarts, give her books to read and movies to watch because she's just like me. She's just like me and still she's not. There's something that separates us and I'm not sure what. She'll sing Elvis Presley songs to you at midnight, very softly over WhatsApp voice notes, just like I do. And just like me, she'll try to convince you after not to listen to them for a while. See, there's this girl I know and she'll grow on you. She'll shower you with love that'll glow on you. And she might get on your nerves sometimes, like I know I do, but she'll grow on you, I promise. She'll grow on you. Did I mention that she writes? She likes words. She tries to woo boys with poetry and prose, and though you might not think that one can flirt in metaphors, she's never flustered like me, and somehow she makes it work. Anyway, listen to the Beatles and take her on long walks. It doesn't matter if it's on Linking Road or down by the docks. See, she loves to hear you speak as much as she likes to talk, and you can repeat your stories, which is a great perk because her memory sucks and she probably forgot anyway. She acts like me, but she's sweeter. When she messes up, the moment doesn't last forever like it does when I teeter, tumble, fall, crash, burn. When she does it, it's just subtle and neater. And she won't always tell you what's on her mind. But when she does, she'll try her hardest not to lie, even though it takes all her might to let down her guard and show you her vulnerable side. See, she's a lot like me, but she's braver. Harsh words and crude comments don't faze her. She draws strength, unlike me, from failure. She's a lot like me, but when faced with a scissor, she's a lot more like rock. I'm a lot more like paper. See, there's this girl I know, and we are exactly the same. From the length of our toenails to the shapes of our names. And I have to admit this even though I'm ashamed, but I think it's because I'm to blame. Because she's the better version, even though she's a lot like me, and I think that's because she's not what I see. I think that maybe if I stepped out of my shoes and I looked at her objectively, maybe I'd call her beautiful, because maybe she is. Thank you.